This is the Momentum Podcast. There are a lot of ways to create success in the world today. In fact, spend 20 minutes online and you'll be sold hundreds of different ways that you can do better, have better relationships, look better, feel better, have a better business, and improve your life. Today, I'm joined by Dr. Nancy Miggins, who is going to share with us how she used one of our free products to not just move in the right direction, but to transform her life at a time when she really needed it. I'm Alex Sharfin, and this is the Momentum Podcast, made for empire builders, game changers, trailblazers, shot takers, record breakers, world makers, and creators of all kinds. Those among us who can't turn it off and don't know why anyone would want to. We challenge complacency, destroy apathy, and we are obsessed with creating momentum so we can roll over bureaucracy and make our greatest contribution. Sure, we pay attention to their rules, but only so that we can bend them, break them, then rewrite them around our own will. We don't accept our destiny, we define it. We don't understand defeat because you only lose if you stop, and we don't know how. While the rest of the world strives for average and clings desperately to the status quo, we are the minority, the few, who are willing to hallucinate there could be a better future. And instead of just daydreaming of what could be, we endure the vulnerability and exposure it takes to make it real. We are the evolutionary hunters, clearly the most important people in the world, because entrepreneurs are the only source of consistent, positive human evolution, and we always will be. So this is an exciting podcast today. You know, I don't do this often. In fact, rarely do we bring anybody on the podcast, but I made the exception today to bring on Dr. Nancy Miggins because I want her to share her insights with you about water and our natural thirst program. And I thought she was just such an amazing example of what water and drinking and being hydrated can do for you in your life. Nancy, thanks so much for being on my podcast.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here. So can you share with everybody just a little bit of your background, your medical background?
So my background is chiropractic, and I've been in healthcare for over 30 years. I'm also board certified in functional medicine and chronic pain management, and I've done an advanced fellowship in functional medicine as well.
It's awesome. So Nancy, actually, I would like you to just share your story. How did you come across the Natural Thirst Program?
Well, I was going through a major shift in my life. I was transitioning from a high-paying, very demanding job to an unknown future. And I felt like I just really needed to somehow take control over one part of my life. And a friend of mine recommended your thirst challenge. And at first I was like, really?
Water?
Yeah.
Wait, can I stop you for 1 second, Nancy? Because I think this is so relatable, what you just said. And I want to draw it out a little bit. You said, you know, I wanted to take control of one part of my life. So let's get really real about like the situation you were in. You're transitioning out of a job. You're going to an unknown future, super overwhelming. And that feeling of like, hey, can I improve one thing? Can I control one thing? That's a very real feeling, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, that when the roller coaster is just ticking up that first hill and you know you can't stop it.
Yeah.
And right when you start going down that first hill, that feeling like, oh no, now I'm just on it for the ride, right? Yeah. Just hang on and, you know, embrace it.
I'm a passenger. Yeah. So going from that feeling of like, I'm a passenger, I don't have control, to can I get control over one thing?
Yep. One thing.
Okay. So tell us a little bit more. So somebody recommended it.
Yep. And I looked at it and it was intriguing, but, you know, part of me was going, really? And then I thought, you know, when patients would ask me, what is the one thing that I can do to improve my health? Kind of like looking for that silver bullet. I would always say, drink water. And they would look at me like, you're crazy. Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, and I'd be like, one thing, drink water.
Yeah.
And so I went, okay, take your own advice. Let's see what this is all about. And I have to say, it was a very transformative experience. At first, I have done cleanses and juice cleanses and bone broth cleanses and, all of that.
You're not new to this.
Previously. No. And I was like, okay, I get the healing crisis, and and I was 2 days in, and I was like, I feel a shift happening. Day 3, I felt like crap.
Mm-hmm.
And day 4, it was like, I have never felt better.
Yeah.
And there are so many people that I have gone, drink water, but don't just drink water, like follow this system, because it really shows you, I don't want to say how bad you were feeling, but how bad you were feeling.
Is it? But you know what, Nancy, that's exactly what it is. Here's what I always tell people. You don't realize how much resistance and constraint you are experiencing from dehydration until you are hydrated.
Absolutely.
And you felt that shift?
Yes. And I guess the freedom and clarity that comes with that, and not just physically in your body, but like I felt it in my mind. And that is the shift that kind of moved me into, okay, I'm going to finally write this book.
Okay, so let's stop this, because so Nancy is referring to her book, Mastering the Health Continuum, that she was kind enough to send me a copy of. And our company and our Natural Thirst program is prominently featured here in the chapter on hydration, which is awesome. But here's what's so interesting, Nancy. I share with people all the time that water is a gateway drug to success. And if you think that people looked at you funny when they said, what's the one thing I can do? You said water. When I say water is a gateway drug to success, you should see some of the looks I get. But then I break it down and I say, look, if you're fully hydrated, you're more aware, you eliminate brain fog, you eliminate inflammation, you help the body, your brain uses more water than anything else. If you're fully hydrated, you actually stop feeling the resistance in your body. If you're fully hydrated, you can focus, you're more present, you're more aware. It actually does create the awarenesses that lead to success. Here's what I just heard you say, which is such a great example. Like, I want everyone to line this up. I started drinking more water and I finally wrote a book.
Absolutely.
Is that fair?
Yes.
So help everybody understand how that really happens. Because I know that there's somebody listening going, wait a second, come on, drinking water, you wrote a book. Like, how did it go from doing the thirst challenge to you having that level of motivation?
Well, again, in that transition period where I was absolutely feeling out of control and not really knowing what the next step in my life was going to be, focusing on hydration and going, okay, really the first few days, all you do is drink and pee. It feels like, right?
It really does.
It's like, that certainly has a way to take your focus off the panic and the fear and the uncertainty and all of that. And I think even offering your mind that sliver of change of focus opens up opportunity.
Yeah.
It's like, if you don't have enough room, you don't even see the opportunities in front of you.
What's interesting, Nancy, is if you look at the last 200 years of research around water, it's pretty terrible. It tells you need to put sugar in water and color in water and it's all driven by manufacturers of soft drinks and stuff. But if you go 200 years to about 6,000 years ago, water was used for all kinds of stuff, for healing, for progress, for, whatever. It's crazy how often it was used. Here's what's often said in older texts is that drinking water and being fully hydrated actually connects mind and body, and it lets us be more aware of who we are. It actually creates a higher awareness of yourself.
Absolutely.
And so what I'm hearing in between the lines here is you started drinking more water, and it actually kind of drove you to be who you really want to be.
Yep. I absolutely agree. And it was subtle and profound all at the same time.
Exactly. That's awesome. When you said that day 3 or was day 4 that was really bad for you?
Day 3.
Day 3. So you were not a very heavy caffeine drinker.
Maybe a cup a day, maybe.
Yeah, not heavy. So just for everybody who's listening, we're going to give you the URL to be able to take the natural thirst challenge yourself. But what we normally see is there's 1 or 2 days in the 10-day challenge that are challenging. And what normally happens is the day after feels like you have a whole new lease on life. Describe that day, Nancy. What was it like for you?
Light.
Like you just dropped a whole bunch of weight?
Right. Yeah. And almost like the impending doom was gone.
Now I want everyone to understand something. Your life situation didn't dramatically change. So at the beginning of the challenge, it felt like there was doom and impending doom and like complete anxiety and difficult. You start drinking water and that impending doom feeling goes away, even though your life situation hasn't changed.
That's right.
What did that do for you at that point?
Well, energetically, I felt, okay, I got this.
Yeah.
I may not have the answer, but I guess it was almost like confidence and motivation to move forward. It was like, I'm not staying in this spot.
Yeah. It's interesting, Nancy, you probably heard this too. I've been to a lot of events. I've seen a lot of speakers, and you often hear them say something like, every one of you has everything you need to be successful right now. Have you heard something like that?
Yes.
I've heard it over and over again in my life. And I would always question it and think like, what does that mean? Like, I don't think I have all the answers. I don't think I've got everything I need right now. Like, what does that really mean? And like, as I've gotten more experience in business and more experience with human beings, here's what I think it really means is like, you really do have everything you need. Are you able to access it? And what I've seen so often is that 2 habits, one, breathing, like breathing oxygen, breathing deeper, doing some meditation, breathing exercises. And second is hydration. Somehow those 2 exercises, being hydrated and, oxygenated, allow you to access more of your capabilities. Did it feel like that for you?
Absolutely. And I think it impacts your nervous system on a really deep level.
Yeah.
And you create more resiliency. So your ability to deal with stressful situations and recover, your ability, my sleep improved dramatically once I really got a handle on hydration. That was one of the key factors, I think, in my sleep switching too.
Yeah. It's one of those things I always tell physicians that the question they should be asking everybody coming in their office is, what is your relationship with water? Not, do you drink enough water? Because physicians ask the question, do you drink enough water? And human beings always say, well, I'm alive, I must. Yes, I drink enough water. That might be 1 cup every 6 days if the doctor doesn't actually ask. And so when you actually find out what somebody's relationship is with water, that changes things dramatically. One of the things we do with everybody who comes in our coaching program, we get them drinking water right off the bat. And it's crazy. Drink water, business improves, health improves, usually relationships improve as well.
Yep.
So,
I think people, when you say, do you drink enough water? They go liquid.
Uh-huh.
I'm drinking coffee, I drink tea, I have lattes, I drink soda, I drink juice, I drink drinks, adult beverages, that's all liquid.
Yeah.
Right. But those other liquids also have, sugar and calories and stimulants and artificial flavors and colors which impact your nervous system and your body in a negative way.
Yeah.
So water really is key, and good water.
Yeah, no question. Nancy, I appreciate you being here with us and sharing this. I think, you come from a place of authority, having dealt with a ton of patients in a lot of different practices. And then, your personal experience with water. I appreciate you sharing this so candidly and transparently with us and letting us know like what really happened for you.
Thanks.
Yeah, my pleasure. Is there anything you would tell anybody who's thinking like, should I really do this?
Yes. Do it and don't wait.
Absolutely. Nancy, Mastering the Health Continuum. I know it's out now. It's on Amazon. Is there a URL or anything you want to share if somebody wants to check out the book?
My website has a link. It's www.miggins, Dr. Nancy Miggins, Miggins.com. Or you can just search Mastering the Health Continuum on Amazon. It's currently a bestseller.
Awesome. Congratulations. We'll make sure everybody checks it out. We'll get drnancymiggins.com in the show notes. And then if you're listening and you're interested in dramatically changing your health, your business, your relationships, the way you communicate with other people, a lot of people have probably tried to sell you a solution here, but here's mine. Drink more water. It costs you nothing. And there is absolutely no obligation to us. Just go drink more water. And if you want a protocol where you can do so easily and completely change your relationship with water and reawaken the natural thirst instinct you've always had, go to getthirstynow.com. Getthirstynow.com. Download our 10-day natural thirst challenge. Join me, Nancy, and thousands of other people who have changed their lives by changing their relationship with water. Getthirstynow.com.